Greetings. How to have an awesome live stream experience as a participant. My name is Lolan, and I'm recording this for solopreneurs that want to gain some comfort and knowledge about the streaming experience. In the past few months, we've seen a huge increase in the number of videos and the increase in use on all of the social media platforms. So we know it's time to get with the program. As my friend Bill Graham says, there are no written rules about live stream participation, but the test of time has provided some best practices that will ensure that you have an enjoyable experience and you get repeat invitations from other Hangout hosts. This presentation is most suited to people who've been invited to an interview or a success circle discussion. And it is really all about YouTube live stream Hangouts. Now, you're not alone if you feel some hesitation here. Lots of people do at the beginning. So let's just get to the program. So give me a minute so that I can share my screen. So this is the beginning slide, and I'm going to I have a presentation here which I will share with you. So let's begin by discussing why it's important to learn and prepare ahead of time. Well, as far as I can see, there are at least 4 reasons why it's a good idea. First one is to increase your own comfort level. Once you know what is going to happen, you're going to feel a whole lot better about it. But there are 4 more that I can think of. So first of all, by preparing and knowing how things work and getting everything set up properly, it's showing respect for the host of your Hangout. Most people who are hosting Hangouts do it because they want to increase their online presence. They want to improve it and keep it active. So by your coming to the Hangout prepared and knowing what's going to happen, that shows a great deal of respect for the host. Also, respect for the other participants. I quite often have 10 to 12 people in the discussion room or the green room at a time. So by your coming in without any technical problems, you're going to enhance the experience that the other participants are having. And then, of course, because the Hangout is being recorded and uploaded to YouTube, there are other viewers who come and watch that video sometime after it's been recorded. And you want their experience to be a good one as well. And then there's one more that often people don't think too much about, but it is worthy of mention, and that is the search engine optimization considerations. When the video has been recorded and uploaded to YouTube, you get more profile from YouTube the longer people stay watching on the video. So if people come to the video and find all kinds of mistakes and problems, chances are they won't stay, and therefore the video doesn't get the kind of Google profile that most hosts are hoping they will get. So let's get to it. Let's talk about, first of all, about being prepared, preparing your computer and preparing you. So I'll divide this up into a couple of sections. So first of all, let's look at all these little technical things that you need to know about and pay attention to ahead of time. So make sure that you have a Gmail or a YouTube account. This is necessary for being able to participate in a green room, in a video hangout. It's important to have a picture, a face-on picture of yourself associated with that account so that the host and others can recognize you. You need a webcam. Now, most laptops have them built in. But if you use a tower type computer, you will need an external webcam that will sit on the top of your monitor. And well, you can also participate from a smartphone or a tablet. You need a headset. Now, this is especially true if you're participating from a laptop, phone, or tablet. And the reason it's important is because the mic and the speakers are very close to each other. And this causes reverberation and echoes in the recording. So no need to go to a whole lot of expense here, since the earbuds that came with your smartphone are perfectly adequate, especially if you're starting out. Maybe down the road when you become more enthusiastic and participate more, you might go for something a little bit more elaborate. But suffice it to say, the earbuds are just fine. Now, you want to use a compatible browser such as Chrome. And you will also need to activate a Hangout extension from within Chrome. There are also Hangout apps available in the Google Play Store for smartphones and tablets. So just a couple more words about the browser that you use. We do know that Microsoft Internet Explorer simply it just doesn't work. You just don't want to even try to go there. But if you happen to be on an Apple product, the browser that goes with that, or others are fine. But I do really recommend that you use the Chrome one, because we're using Chrome or Google products here, and so Chrome is part of their group of things that you can use. Okay, so now what's the next thing on the list here? Know that a wired connection. Now, what does that mean? What I mean by a wired connection is that you're plugged in to your modem. Your computer is plugged into your modem, and this will give you the most stable connection. We know that Wi-Fi fluctuates from time to time and according to usage, etc. And so that Wi-Fi does have an effect on your Hangout experience. If you must use Wi-Fi, ensure that your signal is very, very strong. Now, you want to ensure that your headset and camera are recognized by your computer, and you know where to set those up from inside the Hangout. You need to know where the mute button is and all the other settings. So what you might want to do is, before entering a chat room, to do a bit of practice. You can open a Hangout room and be there all by yourself and look around and see if you can figure out where things are and how they work. Now, before entering an actual invitational chat room, sometimes called the green room or the film strip, close all other computer programs and all other browser tabs. And this will ensure that there's lots of memory, you know, that thing called RAM, is available for the experience. Because the video experience does use up a lot of your computer resources. So you want to minimize the usage as much as you can so that you get a good experience. Be aware that the session may or may not be recorded. So Hangout video calls are not recorded, even though you can have up to 10 people in a film strip having a conversation. While a Hangout on air or YouTube live stream event, as they are now called, they are recorded and uploaded to YouTube. So that's a summary of the most important things that will ensure that you have a really good experience technologically. Now let's talk about and think about how you might prepare yourself personally. So first of all, you want to pay attention to how you look. You want to look your professional best. Ladies, put on your face and do your hair. Gents, comb your hair and trim your beard if you have one, or shave. And the selection of your shirt is a fairly important one as well, because you want it to be easy on the eyes, but you also want it to be easy on the camera focus. And I'll explain a little bit about what I mean there. The more detail that your camera needs to focus on, the more computer resource it uses. So if you use a plain top and a plain background, then you don't use as much computer resource. Okay, so now what about yourself? Now you need to know that if you're coming into a hosted Hangout, chances are you're going to be asked to introduce yourself. So you want to be prepared ahead of time. You know, you need to think about what you want to say. Think about something that will tell who you are and what you do and where you are, and maybe, you know, a little something about an announcement, depending on what your host invites you to do. Some people start off by using a script, so don't be shy about using a script if you must to get yourself started. So now let's take a look at your environment. Which of these two pictures will be the easiest for the camera focus? The one on the left or the one on the right, based on what I just said about detail and the things that the resource usage. So you want to ensure that your surroundings are uncluttered and looking as professional as possible. A threefold screen is very useful here. So what you see behind me right now is a Japanese threefold screen with a drape on it. And you know, if you're going to be doing a lot of Hangouts or hosting Hangouts down the road, you might want to look at that. And certainly certain programs like to see a green screen in the background. So there will be some ways. But in the meantime, when you're first starting out, just try to make sure that your surroundings are not cluttered and that your surroundings look really, really good. Now, also, you need to turn off all possible interruptions, such as phone calls, text messages, etc. So you want to make sure that your devices are turned off, And I might mention that if you have your devices set now with voice responders, know that they have become very sensitive lately. Not long ago, I was facilitating a success circle, and there were probably 10 or 12 people in the room. And suddenly my tablet, which was way across the other side of the room, woke up and started talking to me. Are you sure you want to do this? I didn't hear what you said. It was very embarrassing for me. And of course, as the facilitator, I couldn't get up and go and turn it off. But it eventually did stop talking. So that was a reminder to me that from here on in that I really need to turn that tablet off before I'm doing any sort of a recorded event. So now there are some other things. You want to ensure that family and household noises will not intrude into the session. So what I mean by that, this includes some sounds coming in from outside if you have your windows open, birds, traffic, leaf blowers, that kind of thing. So you need to pay attention to that. Now, let's talk about light source. You need to ensure that your light source is in front of you and not behind you. Since your camera will go to the light first, and so it will focus on the light and leave your face in the dark. And that will not create a very good impression. So maybe you need to find a way to put just a lamp in front of you somewhere so that the light is reflecting back on your face. And you want to be sure to draw drapes over windows that are either behind you or beside you. Sometimes if there's a drapery, a window at the side, there's half of your face becomes brilliant and the other half of your face is in the dark. So you kind of need to pay attention to that. And okay, so speaking of the camera, you may want to do some experimenting with your webcam to ensure that your face is in the center of the screen. Many people use lower thirds as a way of promoting their work, and you don't want your face to be obscured by those lower thirds. I will point out a lower third in a later video slide here if you're unsure as to what a lower third is. So now laptops, for example, you can raise them by placing books under them and so forth, so that your camera is at the best height. And speaking of best height, your camera should be pointing down at you rather than up at you. Like the view of your face from the bottom up is probably not the most flattering. So that's one piece that I learned. Also, if you happen to be participating with a phone or tablet, you could use a selfie stick or a tripod to ensure that the smartphone is held steady and at the right angle. So those are some things to pay attention to about your environment. Now, invitations. A lot of Hangout veterans even find this a bit confusing. So I thought it would make sense for us to say a few words about how invitations happen and how participants may be receiving their invitations. So first of all, you need to know that the host must open the Hangout room in order to get the entry link. And it can't be done ahead of time because if you open it and close it and then open it again, the link will be different. So this means that you will receive your invitation most likely somewhere between 30 and 60 minutes prior to the broadcast time. So how will you receive it? Well, there are at least 4 ways that I can think of. So your host may just send you an email with a live link inside the email, and in which case all you would need to do is click on that link and be taken right to the Hangout. Another way the host could invite you is using a Google Calendar. And so you might receive an email or that says your calendar, there's something happening in the calendar. And within that calendar item, you'll likely find a live link, again, that will take you directly to. Or if you have your browser open, there might be just a pop-up message that appears that asks you if you would like to join, and that the host have probably would have done that from within the Hangout room. Now, if you receive this, the very first time, you may receive 1 or 2 other questions asking you to give permissions. So you'll have to say yes to those before you can click the join button. And then the 4th way is what you're seeing on the right-hand side of the screen right now. And this is a Hangout text message, a Google Hangout text message. And you can see that on Friday night, Craig is just posted the link to come into a Hangout as an invitation to me, a very easy way to do it. So you can see that there is a live link there, and you would just click on that live link. So basically all I can say here is that most hosts will do all of the above because they want their participants to get the message in the most convenient way. Now, sometimes the system is a little slower than we would want it to be. You are different in different parts of the world, and different people using different platforms and different little linkages to the internet. So normally as a host, I open up the green room 60 minutes ahead of time. I send my invitations and hope to heaven that you receive your invitation at least at the 30-minute before mark. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the Hangout green room. So first of all, in this picture on the right-hand side, you can see that my face is in the center of the screen, and you can see my logo and my name and website URL is there. That piece is what is known as a lower third. I mentioned that earlier. And so you can see that it takes up a bit of the screen space over and above the film strip below it. So this is gives you a sense of why it's important to put your to make sure that your face is showing in the middle of the screen. Okay, so enough about lower thirds. We'll probably mention a little bit more about that a little bit later, but I just wanted to mention it now in case I forget. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, you want to arrive 30 minutes ahead of the published start time so that technical testing takes place prior to the recording. You want to make sure that your headset is working, you've got it on, you've got it plugged in, and all of that done before you enter the Hangout room. You want to ensure that your sound is muted when you enter the green room in case others are already there having a conversation. So you want to make sure that you are entering so that you're not impacting or disturbing. You want to enter as silently as possible. So the way to make sure that you can do that, when the Hangout room opens, there will be a join button there. So before you hit that, you want to go up, mouse over the top of the screen and find the mute button. And so click your mute button before you click the join button. That's the way to come in without disturbing. Now the host will greet you and no doubt help you do some of the sound and video checks. If others are using lower thirds, not every group does. Some do, some don't. But if they are, you can set yours by using the toolbox, which you would find on the left-hand side of the screen. And chances are that if you've not done it before, you might have to get the host to explain to you how to access the toolbox and to be able to set your lower third. So when the host signals that the recording is about to start, this is when you should be smiling and know that depending on the kind of program it is or the kind of video it's going to be, there may be a bit of an intro, maybe a little bit of music, some visuals, and the host will no doubt sort of chime in and do the introduction. So expect that, don't be surprised. Now, if there is a published topic, you want to give some thought ahead of time to what your contribution might be. What do you know that you could share, or what questions you might have, or what interest you might have in it. Then you know that the host will open the session, probably describing what the purpose of the session will be. Other participants, or all of the participants, quite often will be invited to introduce themselves. Usually the host will give you a little bit of a heads up as to how to do that. Again, you want to keep it short and concise. Remember that it's one voice at a time. This means that you need to wait until one person has finished what they have to say before saying your piece. Now, that gets kind of tricky sometimes, and if that doesn't work very well with the flow of the conversation, you might just want to give a little visual signal to the host, like something like that. It might be important here to explain why it is one voice at a time. We explained earlier that whoever is speaking shows up in the center of the screen. Well, if more than one person is speaking simultaneously, poor Hangout doesn't know which one to focus on. So that creates a choppiness, as it does in the sound as well. So that's important to realize that it is one voice at a time. So let's see. What else do I need to share with you here? I've lost my place a little bit. In some cases, the internal group chat, you need to know that internal group chat is only viewable or visible, I guess is the word I want, visible to those who are inside the green room. and they are not available to the viewers on the outside. So it's often a really good idea to just use that internal chat to signal maybe that you would like to contribute something. Now, some you might like to share if it would enhance, like if you're giving a contribution, saying something, you might want to be ready to share your screen if it would enhance understanding of what you're trying to explain. And know that if you have any things to share, links or whatever, you're probably going to want to put that in the chat rooms that are visible to viewers as well. So if some hosts are like me, for example, I host all my Hangouts on my website, and there is a chat a comment stream right beside the video, and that would be the place to put any comments that you think are valuable, or share links or pictures or whatever you might be wanting to share. You want to smile and participate actively, of course, and do it with a positive mindset. Now, you want to mute your camera and mic if you feel a sneeze or some other unplanned occurrence coming on. And then when you're ready, you can just turn your camera back on. So what happens, I guess you probably would want to know what happens when you turn your camera off from within the Google Hangout. What happens is your avatar shows up in the middle of the screen. And most people who participate in these, they just know that when somebody's avatar shows up, it's because something is happening that they don't think would be useful or appreciated by the other participants or viewer. So that's a little trick to be aware of sometimes. And of course, the other thing is sometimes the host will ask you a question, and you gotta be able to react quickly to turn off your mute button so that people can hear your answer. So that takes a little bit of practice, but eventually that comes together reasonably well. So now I want to say a little something about white boxing. So I said earlier that the person speaking is in the center of the screen. If you click on one of the pictures in the film strip, that will put that person in the center of the screen. That's referred to as white boxing. Now, you have control over what you want to see in the middle of your screen, but you need to know that the host is the one who controls the white boxing that will be picked up by the recording. So don't be worrying if you decide you want to see what somebody looks like or what their name is or whatever. If you're mousing around doing all of this, you as a participant are not really controlling or impacting what will show up on the video. So finally, once the Hangout is over, you need to know that the host may invite some parting comments, and then we'll signal the end of the recording. And again, sometimes there's an outro that gets played, and some people just smile and do what some people do is give a little wave or a smile or a goodbye. There's one piece that I forgot to mention and that I think is really important before I move on to the next topic. That is this whole business about chatting. There are lots of platforms where there is a group chat associated, and it shows really good respect for the host and the rest of the participants if you don't engage in a side conversation that doesn't have anything to do with the topic. Many people find those side chats very, very distracting. They're very useful if you have something to share that will enhance and add to the conversation about the topic. But it is really not good taste to be chatting about something else altogether. So let's move on to the next screen. So here is leaving a good impression. So, in every social situation, there is a certain etiquette, isn't there? So I've thought of 8 things that that have come up for me, and from observances and so forth, my observances. You'll no doubt observe a few things yourself as time goes on. So here are my 8 things. First of all, ensure that you know what the topic of conversation will be and gather your thoughts about it so that you can contribute meaningfully. If the Hangout is hosted on your host's website with the VCP, and that's called Video Comment Plugin, you want to add any contributions there so that those contributions get saved along with the video right on your host's website. If you must leave a broadcast early, and sometimes that does happen, business happens or life happens, it's really good etiquette to let the host know ahead of time so that she can manage it gracefully. It's a good idea to review the operating principles, remembering what we stand for. And for myself, you can find my operating principles on every Success Circle video page on my website. Other hosts may include some comments about what this is all about and what we stand for in the invitation. But do look around and make sure that you understand what we all stand for. Stay focused on the discussion. Yes, I talked about that before. But somehow there is a nice balance between really listening and engaging. As you observe the way other people participate, you'll get a sense of what that balance might look like. But you really want there to be a really good balance, and you certainly don't want to jump in with something that's not related to the topic of conversation. I did mention earlier the reason for this, but it's probably a good idea to say it again. Do not interrupt the discussion. Wait until the host gives you a signal. Now, that's sometimes not all that easy to do, because especially if you've got a group discussion going and people are becoming very enthusiastic and sharing and so forth, it's hard sometimes not to jump in with a comment, because that's kind of the way a live conversation goes. But I explained earlier why you try not to do that for technical reasons. Well, as well as just plain good manners and good etiquette, for sure. And the last one I would like to mention is that it's really important, if you can, to stay in the green room after the recording ends. The host will signal, there'll be an outro probably, but you want to stay and join in the conversation, because often the conversation, it's like, I refer to it as online networking. This kind of an online networking experience can often lead to participants doing business with each other. So once once the know, like, and trust process has taken place, business does happen. Now, if you feel nervous about being in a video, a good place to begin is to view some videos live and participate by placing your questions and comments in the comment stream during the broadcast. In other words, you're participating in the event even though you're not in the green room. That's a really, really good way to get your feet under you. And you'll find there will be comment streams on a lot of different platforms, Google Plus or YouTube, or the host's website. And, if you participate live and add comments and do that, as time goes on, your comfort level really does increase. Certainly that's the way I got involved. Gosh, that's a number of years ago now. But if you would like an actual video experience to test things, know that I provide a free, short, live, step-by-step instruction. You can request it by sending me a message from the contact page right here on my website. So go to the contact page, scroll to the bottom, and fill in the email form, and I'll get back to you. And what will happen is I'll set it up, and we might even have to start out by speaking on the phone first, so I can guide you step by step. But I'm very happy to do that if you would like to participate. So now I think it's time to sign off. I do hope that you found this instruction video useful, and that you'll be encouraged to dive in there and have some fun and play like some of me and my colleagues do. So this is Lowell Ann signing off for today. I hope to see you soon. So bye for now, and do register down below somewhere.